And this is State Representative Keith Kidwell coming to you from Raleigh, North Carolina with this week's update. It's been a very exciting week here in Raleigh. The first thing we did of importance this week is to repeal the requirement for a pistol purchase permit. This does not in any way stop the need for a background check, contrary to what you're going to hear from folks out there in the public. This is actually getting rid of an old-time Jim Crow law that really just does not need to be in place. So now you can go in to a gun store, gun show, wherever you're buying a pistol, and you can purchase that just like we do long guns in North Carolina, in that you simply do an application for a NICS background check on site. You don't have the additional time of having to go to the sheriff to get their permission to acquire a firearm. So very happy that we were able to override the governor's veto on that. We've had some of the Democrats that stood with us, so it's truly a bipartisan bill and a bipartisan override on the governor's veto. So more of those to come in the near future, so stay tuned. We also this week, let me go back to that pistol purchase permit. It also allows for people with concealed carry permits to carry a firearm in a church when that church is located on school property. Now, it does not permit that during school. So that would absolutely not be the case. It also allows schools to have armed security guards if they choose to do so in the private school. So very good bill. Looking forward to seeing it get on the books, which actually went into effect. The most of it went into effect as soon as it was passed at 9:35, I believe yesterday morning. So the next one is yesterday afternoon I filed the Human Life Protection Act. What this bill does is it codifies that life begins at conception. And I know some people are going to argue the point and say, well, you should not insert your religion in my life. Let's start with the fact that our founders in the Declaration of Independence said that our God-given rights, our Creator, endowed us with certain inalienable rights, those being, or among those, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So our founders found life to be very important. If you want to tell me that life doesn't begin at conception, I would argue very, very easily that if our scientists found a dead bacteria on Mars, the headline would read, "Life found on Mars. Evidence of life found on Mars." I also know that you can be arrested and jailed and fined. We had somebody had this happen to him in Belhaven, North Carolina, that had a very heavy fine because they took down an eagle's nest and it contained eagle's eggs, and they were fined for what purpose? Killing of an eagle. Well, if it was only an egg, it wasn't an eagle, according to what you tell me from the abortion position. Those of you that find yourselves to be Christian, the Bible is very clear on this, and the fact that God said, "I knew you when I formed you in your mother's womb." So whether or not you're Christian, we have evidence in science, we have evidence in our constitutional and founding documents, and we also have that in the Bible. So all of those, your arguments just don't hold there. Life is life. We need to protect life from conception to natural death. So I will continue to stand for that. We passed legislation that requires our sheriffs in North Carolina to pass through the House, has to go over the Senate, that says that our sheriffs have to cooperate with ICE. If there's an ICE detainer, they have to check with the federal government to make sure that that person is not a wanted criminal, and if they are, they need to turn them over to ICE. We passed the 9/11 Freedom Flag Act, which now will go to the Senate as well. What that does is it's a flag for the remembrance of 9/11 and all of those who died in each of the locations. For more details on that, I'll be posting a picture and an explanation of the flag on my Facebook page, or you can go to the 9/11 Foundation and you'll see it there. We also passed, I was very proud to co-sponsor this bill as well with Representative John Torbett, the Protect Our Students Act. What this does is increases the penalties for anybody who has sexual offenses against our children in schools. We've seen too much of this today. There's, I believe, more than 50 cases active right now with public school employees who have trespassed sexually against students in the state of North Carolina. And that's going to need to be stopped, and this is one of the ways that we're going to help to do that. That's about it for this week. There was lots more going on. We're working very diligently on the budget. We just got a preliminary release on that. and there's going to be more to come on that. Of course, there'll be horse trading and sausage making and all that goes on here in Raleigh, but we're hoping at the House side to have a budget out and in the hands of the Senate by April 15th. The Senate will take a month or so working on their end of it, and we're hoping to reconvene and bring back together a great budget for the people. Lots of good increases in there for teachers' pay. The percentage right now, we're working at between 10 and 13%. There's raises for state employees across the state. The projects are not quite in there yet, so if you've asked me for money for projects, we're not going to see that in this first draft of the budget. That'll all get worked out over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we'll be able to bring some of that back to Eastern North Carolina, because I'm concentrating very hard on bringing in jobs through many projects in the East, not just the airport, but also down in Aurora. We're working on some projects out in Dare County. We're working on affordable housing for Dare County, working on a new college for Pamlico Community College. So lots going on in the East. More to come. Stay tuned next week for more updates. Week after that, just as a heads up, we'll be out for Easter break, and then we'll return and finish up the budget. Have a good day. Enjoy your week, and we'll talk to you next week. Again, Representative Keith Kidwell, 79th District.